In this final part of the AudioLlama's guide to setting up your turntable, I'm just going to show you how to plug it all in and go through any kind of pitfalls that you might run into while doing that. Before we jump in, I think it's really important to talk very briefly about the different kind of turntable setups you can actually have. I know I have talked about this in some of my oldest videos, and to see them, go and click the links where they appear. The most traditional is the kind of system that I have, which you have a classic turntable without a built-in preamp. You have an amplifier with a built-in preamp, and then you have passive speakers, which I don't have here. They're still in my living room because they're huge. Some folks often improve on these systems by putting their own external preamp in, because it might be a better quality than the one that they have in either the turntable or in the amplifier. Don't worry about that in this case. It's probably not going to be what most of you do if you're just starting, and it's certainly not what I've done. Similarly, for those of us who enjoy more personal listening experiences, a variation on that could be the headphone amplifier setup, where you might have a turntable going into your phono preamp and then going into a headphone amp, which then goes to headphones. Simple. Basic premise is exactly the same. One of my favourite kind of systems, and it's one that I recommend for newbies because you can sound really good and it's nice and compact, is something like a standard turntable, usually with a preamp built in, but not always. You can use external preamps into powered or active speakers, so they're like your Bluetooth speakers or these Roth VA4 powered speakers. They've got Bluetooth in, but you have to hook them up to the mains. They sound really good for the money. These are kind of exceptional because they actually have a phono preamp built in, so you can plug turntables that don't have one directly into the back, which is a really cool, quite unique feature. And lastly, you can also have systems that go directly into a computer, so you can either use the USB output that's built into quite a few, usually inexpensive turntables, but I know Project do their debut carbon with a USB output, that into a laptop or PC via USB, or into an external preamp that has a USB output. I guess one of the important things to take away from that is that if your turntable has a preamplifier, then it will really impact how you plug it into things, so do take heed of that. If you don't know exactly what preamps are and what they do, then click the link wherever it is to watch my video on what is a preamp. Right, so set your turntable up where you want it. Ideally, you want it on something very solid and non-resonant. If your turntable has spikes like this, then it's really important to put some spaces underneath the feet so it doesn't mar the surface that it's on. I've got little feet for it to go on here. Right, so next, grab your turntables, power cable and phono cables. You've got red and white for left and right channels. There's also an earth lead, which most turntables without a phono stage built in will have, although not always. So plug that into the back of your record player. Bear in mind that occasionally the tab that locks in the earth lead can be recessed and a bit awkward to actually get to, so have a little screwdriver ready if you need it. So, if like this you're using a turntable that doesn't have a preamp in, to plug it into an amplifier, take your phono cables and plug it in to the phono input. Or like I said earlier, you could plug it into an external preamp, like something, I don't know, like a Project Phono MM, and then put that into one of the normal auxiliary inputs in your amplifier, not with the preamp ones. If you were going to plug it into a set of powered speakers that, unlike these, didn't have a phono stage, you just plug them again into that phono stage and then into the back of your speakers. A lot of powered speakers like this don't have red and white RCA plug inputs and just have mini jack inputs. In that case, you need to either adapt your phono cables with a little adapter or just swap out the cables in your record player for phono to mini jack cables and then plug it straight into the back. One thing here that's imperative is that you don't plug your record player through two stages of preamplifier gain. What I mean by that is if your record player has a preamplifier in it, you then don't go and take that signal and plug it into your amplifier's turntable preamp. That can cause pretty serious damage to both your preamp and your amplifier, and it'll sound incredibly loud and possibly blow your speakers in the worst situation. If your record player does have a preamp in, then it obviously becomes a little bit less complicated again. You can just plug your record player into any source you want, so you go straight into normal, auxiliary input or whatever in your amplifier, and you go straight into the back of your powered speakers using any adapters or changing cables if you need them. Obviously again, if it does have a preamp, make sure you don't plug it into an amplifier's own built-in phono stage. At this point there's not much left to go. Make sure, say, your record player is on a level flat surface and it doesn't rock. Make sure as well all your cables are properly plugged in to your amplifier and your record player. And if you have time and space, do some cable management, make them look neat and tidy.